My name is Janet Mills.
Okay. What's your first memory of Gamesley?
I came up in 1969. I was 22 then, and I remember I knew a neighbour that had come up this way, and we just came up to see her because we knew that we'd have to be moving shortly, and actually came up with my first husband on a motorbike and sidecar on the back of that and I remember coming up the plough and all the trees overhanging, and it looked really nice coming up, and then we came to see the lady.
So you said the first time you came up to Gamesley, you came to sort of visit someone. How did you end up sort of moving up here?
Well, we'd rented a house at Openshaw, but the landlord didn't tell us that they were going to pull them down after about a year or something. So we'd had letters about that. So we knew that we were going to move to a different area. And as I say, we came up to see a neighbour in the same street that had already moved up here. And she actually lived next door where I live now. There was just this one empty. And we liked it so much that when we got back, we phoned the council and we were explaining. She said we could have this one. So we're lucky to get the one that we're in now.
What were the shops and facilities like when you first came to Gamesley?
Not much. I had two sons then. One was 3 and one was 2. There were no paths. They were just cinder paths. So there was Thomason's shop, and Morgan's was a little shop, and I think there was a little co-op on the other side that's now the hairdressers. So we used to go to Morgan's for a few bits, and then we'd go into Glossop. I can't remember whether there were any buses when we came. So we'd walk towards Glossop with the kids in the trolley, and then do a bit of shopping, and then on the way back the kids would have to walk and the shopping would be in the trolley.
Do you have any special memories of your time on Gamesley? Any particular events, anything like that?
Lots of them, I think, when I look back. There were the lads played football for Gamesley. The Gamesley Colts they were then. And we used to have discos when it was the end of the season. We'd always have discos in the club. The club wasn't there at first, but I think I remember everybody bought a brick to build the club. Can't remember how much it was now, but I remember buying a brick. And we used to hold discos in there for the football teams. Of course, there was the brigades, there was the church. I'm not sure when the church started, but I used to go to the church at Geoffrey Allen Centre, and I think we started a nursery from the church at the time. We used to help run that. So there are a few things that I remember. It seemed a lot more for the children to do then than now.
Do you have like a particular special place on Gamesley?
The shops were always good at the time when they built all the shops, because the paper shop used to be buzzing with people because they sold. It was the post office as well, but they had all the sweets and toys, and you could put things away for Christmas. So that was always buzzing. There was the greengrocers, the laundrette, Hugh Fay's, I think it was, the butchers. That was always good, because you would sort of start meeting people down there, saying hello to people. Other times we walked down to the river, down over the back there. That used to be good. Apart from that, there wasn't a lot else to go to on Gamesley. There was the plough. I used to work in the plough when that was open, when that was there. And then they built the Centurion at the back out here, and the Melandra. I worked in the Centurion as well. And I think you met people in those places that years ago, they were where you met people and knew people, and you formed new friendships then, because you were in a different area to Manchester. And you still see those people today.
How do you what do you think and feel of Gamesley sort of now as opposed to when you first moved up?
It's obviously changed, but I think lots of areas have changed nowadays. Things are different now. People were more... They're still friendly on here. I think it's a place, Gamesley, where they would, if there's something goes on, they would still stick together. That they know everybody would be out to help. I think that's one of the main things about Gamesley that I think of.
And similar sort of, what do you think of sort of Glossop and Glossopdale? Because I know sort of, you know, from the book, in the early days, sort of folk didn't necessarily get on as well with Glossopdale folk as
there were
they
remarks
do now.
made as saying we didn't want you up here and things like that. But I think we brought quite a bit of... I think we made some of the shops quite better off with people spending money. That, you know, more people, $1,000 houses up here. So it must have made a difference to Glossop, and I think that started the expanse of Glossop myself. But I don't think people bother now. You got that at first. And I suppose you get that in other places as well. If they suddenly said they were going to build 100 houses next to me now, I would probably be a bit wary. So I think it's just things that happen in lots of areas. And Glossop would have been a small town then, not used to having a lot more people.
Do you still have any family that live on Gamesley?
No. My sons one lives at Charlesworth and one lives at Ashton. They lived on it for a long time, but once they got married and moved off, one son has a local business that does well. But just friends.
And last one, do you still think of yourself as a Mancunian? Or did you ever think of yourself as a Mancunian? Or do you now say you're a Glossopian or a Gamesleyan?
I asked my son that this morning when I phoned. I said, do you class yourself as a Glossopian or Mancunian? And he said, I'm a Gamesley person. Even though he was born in Manchester, he classed it as a Gamesley person. But I class myself as a Mancunian, I think. And I think a lot of people still do up here. Manchester has lots of memories for people that first came up. But Gamesley, I would say, I say from Gamesley. Yeah, he said he's from Gamesley, one son. I don't know about the other son, what he would think. But I don't think they call themselves Glossopian. In fact, I was told this morning I'm not a Glossopian. We're Gamesley, not a Glossopian.